Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Recently a company called Iceco reached out to me and wanted me to try out one of their products. These folks make a variety of off-grid refrigerators, and they said, hey, go look at our website and pick one out. I think you guys are gonna like my choice. I think one of the reasons they wanted me to do this was because of this thing right here, this teardrop. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't allowed for me to take the teardrop out to do a proper video with this, but I did want to show it to you guys. It'll probably eventually show up in some camping videos once the weather clears up and stops doing all this mess. So let me show you what I picked out from the Iceco website. Believe it or not, this is a refrigerator. Technically, it's a refrigerator slash freezer because it has adjustable temperatures that allow you to set it for whichever you prefer. But notice the way I'm holding this. I am supporting an entire off-grid refrigerator with one hand. That's how lightweight this thing is. This is what I think impresses me the most about this product. Look, I know everybody out there swears by their little Sasquatch coolers, but the downside to coolers like that is you have to have the added weight of ice for them to be effective. Everything I need is in here. Everything is so super lightweight, so I can load this thing up with just food. I don't have to add extra ice, so the only extra weight that's gonna be in here is going to be from my food. But look at this design. Let me set it down. I'm tired of holding this thing up. I absolutely love the design of this cooler. This aluminum skin retro footlocker design is absolutely brilliant. I love the look of it, and it's definitely one of those things that I think sitting around a campsite, this is gonna get some questions from people walking by. So if you notice these footlocker style latches on here, this is what locks the top of the cooler. One of the neat functions of this is the lid design. It's designed so that you can lift the lid only as much as you need to, and it's gonna hold in place. You don't have to open it all the way. You don't have to open it 3/4 of the way. Whatever you open it to, it's gonna stay there. So if you've got a handful and you're trying to reach in there and get what you want, you don't have to hold the lid up and try to reach in at the same time. You can just push that sucker up, reach in, get what you need, close it back. So you see that the inside of the fridge has 2 wells in it. This just kind of allows you to separate your items out a little bit. But I'll drop the food capacity right here so you can see what this thing's capable of holding. Another cool function of this is it comes with a 110 cord and a 12-volt cord. I can plug this thing in my car if I'm traveling. I can plug it in right here in the teardrop, and my teardrop has a solar setup. And while my solar array is charging the battery, I can be running this thing without draining it all out. On this end over here, you're gonna see the control panel. This is what allows you to determine what temperature you wanna set this at. You can set it anywhere from -4 degrees up to 68 degrees. So you can set this to work as a freezer or just as a cooler, and you can set it to your preferred temperature. If you like your drinks at just a certain temperature, this is gonna allow you that level of control. When I first got this, I did a little bit of experimenting and I plugged it into my Jackery. It took about an hour to cool this from 78 degrees down to -4 degrees. And it pulled very little power off of the Jackery. I was thoroughly impressed with how energy efficient this thing is. Another super cool function is this thing has its own app. I mean, doesn't everything nowadays though? But Iceco has an app that will allow you to communicate with the cooler. You can set it, you can adjust it, you can check the status and the internal temperature, all from your app. So if you've already crawled into your camper for the night and you realize that you forgot to adjust the temperature on the cooler, you can just whip out your phone and do it from there. A couple of things about power with this device. It has an energy efficient mode that allows you to use less electricity. So if you want to run it overnight when it's dark and a little bit cooler, but you don't want to pull as much power, you can turn this thing down so that it will run in cycles. Now Iceco does sell a battery that's designed specifically for this product. I don't have it. I just run it off my Jackery, or I run it off the 12-volt system in the teardrop, or you can just plug it into the wall. One thing that I'm the most excited about with this product is a lot of times when I'm packing for a camping trip or if I'm packing for travel, the last thing that I pack is the cooler. I don't want to pack up the night before, pour a bunch of ice in, and by the next day when it's time to go, I've already got ice that's melting. And then I've got to get up in the morning and I've got to haul this cooler full of ice out to the car and get it loaded. With this Iceco cooler, I can load everything in it the night before. I can plug it into the wall and let it run overnight. Then in the morning, when it's time to get up and go, I can unplug it, load it into my car, plug in the 12-volt cord, and then plug that into the car. And now I've got seamless cooling. I'm not having to worry about ice. I'm not having to worry about draining off water. And as long as I've got some kind of a power supply I can run this thing off of, I'm gonna have cold drinks wherever I go. One thing we run into when we travel, especially if we're going to visit family, is somebody's always giving us some kind of food to take home. And usually by the time we get home, it's floating in ice water at the bottom of the cooler. Now, I don't have to worry about that. I just throw this thing in the car, plug it in, put everything I need in it, and I'm good to go. Now this is another one of those items where price becomes the factor. It's currently less than $500, and the folks at Iceco have given me a discount code so that my viewers, if they're interested, can go and get one at a discount. Now it may seem like a lot of money, but when you start pricing those Sasquatch coolers and you realize just how much people are willing to spend on those, this doesn't sound quite so ridiculous. Honestly, for a refrigerator slash freezer that you can use off-grid with any power source, plug it into your car, plug it into a wall, plug it into your solar, plug it into your Jackery or your Blue Eddy or whichever setup you've got, this starts to become a much better deal. But to have a setup that's this lightweight and easy to handle, I think I'm gonna really enjoy this thing. We're getting ready to go on a trip this weekend, and I'm gonna be taking this with me because we need to haul some stuff up there. And I know there's some things that we're probably gonna wanna buy while we're there, and we're gonna need to have the ability to bring it home. So as small and compact and lightweight as this unit is, I'd much rather do this than try to keep up with a cooler. This is not gonna be for everybody, I get that. Some people are just really into their coolers. And if you're going totally off-grid and you don't wanna have to carry some kind of a power supply with you, then this is probably not gonna be your product. If you get tired of hauling around heavy coolers full of ice and you'd like something lightweight and kind of cool looking, I think I've got it right here. Every once in a while I get contacted by a company that produces something that's so cool that I can't say no to it. And that's the case here. I was in a position where at the time I wasn't really looking at picking up any new endorsements or product videos, but when Iceco reached out to me and I saw this product, I said, I need that. I can absolutely use it. I can see me using it quite a bit, even just around the house. I'm probably gonna keep this plugged in out here in the studio and use it as like a garage fridge. I can put a few drinks in there, I can put some adult beverages in there, and I can absolutely make this worth my while. Let me run down a few of the statistics that the company wanted me to share with you. This has a corrosion-resistant aluminum skin on it that is weatherproof. You can put this thing out in all kinds of conditions. I wouldn't leave it out in torrential rain, but just getting sprinkled on, you're not going to hurt this. The company is also quite proud of the compressor that they've got in here. This is one of the most compact and efficient compressor systems that's out there. And I can say from my testing that this thing works as advertised. It's energy efficient, it's fast, and the way the space is laid out inside means that you're not wasting a lot of energy and you're not wasting a lot of the cooling power. But most of all, this thing's just super lightweight and compact. You can see how little space it's taken up here, and right now it does kind of dominate the galley, but if I need to do other things in the galley, this thing is so lightweight, I can just pick it up and move it. I'm not gonna have to fight with it or struggle with it. I'm just gonna pick it up, set it on the ground, and then when I'm done, I can set it back up here if I need to. But I'm a big fan of this thing, and I'm hoping that you guys are gonna get a chance to see it used in action in a few other videos in the future. There'll be a link in the description box below that you can go and check out this product, see how much it currently is and how much you can get it for with the discount that they're offering to my viewers. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to show this thing to you. Now I gotta get this thing loaded up and ready to go on a road trip. So until the next time, prepare for the world that you live in, not the one you wish existed. And we'll see you around.